4 years ago, back in 2010, I used to be an avid pot smoker. I smoked, like, whenever I get nervous, whenever I was, like, stressed out, I would smoke. Smoke weed, whatever it may be. And I never smoked anything that I didn't roll up. That was a rule of mine. If I didn't see it, I wouldn't smoke it. So Friday night, I just got off, I think I got off work. I worked like a 16-hour shift. And a friend of mine hit me up and said, yo, Darrell, you want to come over and, we can smoke or whatever. And I was like, cool, I'm down. And I went over. It was already rolled. And I was just like, I don't know. I'm not going to do this. And then she pretty much just said, yo, it's cool. I just rolled it just now. I was like, all right, cool. So I started smoking. I'm like, yo, why aren't you smoking? She's like, oh, I'm not in the mood to smoke. So I was just like, okay, that's weird. So she gets up and she goes to the kitchen. And when she goes to the kitchen, she comes out the kitchen. And then she comes out the kitchen. And then she comes out the kitchen. Notice she never went back in. She just kept coming out. So immediately it hit me and I was just like, this ain't no good weed, because she should at least go back at least once. So she kept coming out and I was just like, yo, so I put it out and I put it down. I'm like, yo, I don't feel so good. And she was like, oh, you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I'm about to lay down. She's like, oh, go lay in my bed. So I went into her bed and I laid down. I promise, I lied to you not. I felt like I was asleep for like 10 years. I was knocked out. I was like, oh, this is the best sleep ever. I woke up, I felt a little bit better, and I was like, oh man, how long was I asleep for? Is it Monday? She said, no, it's, you only asleep for 5 minutes. And I was like, word? Yeah, I'm about to go home. So I got in my car, and literally I lived right down the street off Essex in Altamont, right across from the mall. And this all happened off Winemore. So I'm driving home. I don't know how I got home. In my mind, I got in a car accident because all I heard was sirens, and my car was wrapped around a tree. That's all I saw, and I saw paramedics pumping me. That's all I saw in my mind. But I made it home. I got into my neighborhood, and my neighborhood was blacked out. And I'm like, yo, it's never been blacked out before. So I get in my apartment. I open the door. I still don't understand how I parked my car perfect. I don't understand how everything played out, how I put the keys in the door. So I'm in my house, and my roommate's there, and I'm like, yo, what happened to the power? And he's on his laptop. And I'm like, what happened to the power? He's like, oh, the power went out. But how are you on your laptop? If the power is out, he's like, oh, my battery was charged. Like, you lying. There's something wrong right now. Like, it's black. And he was like, nah, man, the power went out. It's cool. So I went upstairs to my bed, and I went back to sleep. And it felt like I was asleep for like 10 days. I woke up, came back downstairs, and like, dude, I don't feel right. I drank water. I didn't feel no kind of liquid going down my, nothing. Everything was numb. He was like, you okay? I was like, no, I don't feel right. Like, you gotta take me to the hospital. And every time I said hospital, my body would get a shock, and the room would light up. So in my mind, I'm thinking like, yo, I'm really dead right now. Like, I'm on a hospital bed, and I'm laid out. And he's like, no, dude, you're all right. You're shaking. You're getting hot. You're getting cold. You're getting hot. You're getting cold. And I'm like, nah, dude, like, I need to go to the hospital. I had my socks on. I think I was in boxers and a wife beater. And I said, yo, I'm gone. So I jumped out the door, and I hit the door, and I ran down the stairs in socks and drawers, and I'm running down. He's like, yo, wait. He left the door open, grabbed me, threw it in his car. We're leaving the apartment complex. People are walking their dogs, and all I saw was demon faces. Everybody, the dogs had demon faces, the people had demon faces, and then flash again, I'm in the hospital room getting pumped in my chest. And I'm like, yo, I'm dying. He's like, what? I'm like, dude, you're taking too long. And he's like jetting it, over bumps, didn't care about his alignment, just hitting everything. And I'm like, dude, I'm dying. I got to jump out the car. He's like, no. So he's holding me and driving and saying, don't jump out. So I'm jumping out the car. We finally make it to Altamont, Florida Hospital right here, and I'm sitting, and the lady's like, do you have insurance? I'm like, yeah, I have life insurance, health insurance, car insurance. I have every insurance you need. It's in my wallet. And she's like, where's your wallet? It's in my pants. Where's your pants? It's at the house. And she was like, do you have the number? Well, if I had it off head, I would give it to you, but I don't know it. So a doctor was just passing by, and I honestly, till this day, think that was God just put that doctor right there. Because he passed by, and he looked at me while I'm nodding in and out of consciousness, The doctor said, get this man into the ER room. And the nurse was like, no, we got to get all his paperwork. He's like, no, forget paperwork. Get him into the ER room. He's about to, like, die. And my roommate kept trying to keep me awake, and I passed out. When I came to, I was in a hospital bed with tubes running through my body, and a gorgeous nurse, I have to say this, I'm sorry. If you are a nurse, God bless you. Because if a dude wake up out of like a mini coma and he sees you, it's an amazing thing. She was amazing, she was very nice, and they ran tests on me, did blood work. I think I had every test you could possibly think of, and came back, and the doctor was like, yo, you're lucky to be alive. And I was just like, what do you mean? He's like, in your system, we found cocaine, heroin, and some other stuff with weed. And I was like, yo, someone laced my weed, son. Like, and if you don't know what lace is when you dip your weed in liquid. So you can dip it in cocaine because cocaine is liquid. You can liquefy heroin. So you lace your weed. And the doctor said, you are lucky to be alive. No brain damage. How many fingers do I have? Like, dude, I'm still delusional. This IV stuff is great, though. I need to take some of this home. And everyone was just laughing. But in the way how I felt, I was like, yo, I could have died tonight. And of course, I was flirting with a nurse, and she wouldn't give me her number, but it's all good. And it was, I think I was there for like 8, 9 hours, and it wasn't until probably about 3, 4, 5 in the morning that I realized that I was still in my underwear. And I was like, yo, I was flirting with a nurse in my underwear. Like, that's pretty crazy. So we get back home, and my roommate pretty much told me, like, yo, you were going crazy. I went through my phone. I sent texts out to everyone like, yo, I love you, don't know you, but I love you. And everyone was replying, are you okay? I was like, yo, I almost died. And it's amazing to me, and I have to say that God is good, because a year after that, I gave the testimony at Altamont. Anytime I go play basketball and kids are smoking weed on the court, I'm always like, yo, this is what happened to me. And I've actually heard a story about a guy that's at Patmos, and if you see him, he shakes a lot. And he shakes a lot when he's in church and he talks to himself. The same thing happened to him. I don't have those effects. I shake every once in a while, but I don't have that serious effect. It happened to him to where he didn't get to the hospital in time. So this testimony it's not really a testimony to me. It's just to show how good God is. Like, I feel like when we classify testimonies, it's too small of a bracket. God is too big for something so small. So I hope y'all enjoyed it, and I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your night. God bless.